Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast presented by Manly Bands. Josh All, your host today. Don't have a whole lot of great things to talk about as Browns training camp continues to go here midweek. Martin Emerson down, Dawand Jones off the field, Mike Woods, goodbye, just a whole lot of things going on. And unfortunately, not a whole lot of positive stuff, but we do have a certain quarterback finally taking reps against first team defenses. So we will dive into some of that as well. Before I get into the update here on what is today, Wednesday, I just want to remind everybody, head to jointhedogs.com right now if you want to play fantasy football with us this year. Signups are still going on. Leagues are starting to get filled up, divvied up. We're coordinating draft dates, so there's still space, there's still room, you can still get in, but time is running out. So don't wait. We got people signing up still right now. I'm getting more and more people in there. Get in now, get your place in fantasy. It's a ton of fun. It's just $5 a month to be a part of the Patreon. You're basically donating a cup of coffee to us each month. You don't know it's gone, but it helps out the show a ton. And you get access to the private Discord and everything else that comes with being a Patreon member, a Dog Pack member, plus play fantasy football with us. So that is at jointhedogs.com. So the big news, obviously, out of training camp yesterday on Tuesday, cornerback Martin Emerson Jr. down on the field with a non-contact injury, carted off the field. Just not a great scene by all accounts at training camp. And obviously, anytime you get these non-contact injuries, it's pretty much always an ACL or usually an Achilles tear. And they are usually the season-ending type of injuries. And it was confirmed after practice yesterday that, yes, it was an Achilles injury. Severity still not determined. MRI was coming today. Well, that MRI confirmed today that Emerson did indeed rupture his Achilles. He will have surgery, and he will miss the entirety of the 2025 season. The Browns have placed him on IR, and he's done. He's done. The Browns are down probably, based on how you feel about the cornerback position, probably their number 2 cornerback is down, a guy that during his first 2 seasons in the NFL, we were thinking, hey, maybe this guy could be the future cornerback 1 on the Browns roster. I've seen the comments out there from people that say, oh, Martin Emerson's injured, no big deal, won't be missed, not a big loss. Cut it out. Knock it off. That is absurd talk. Martin Emerson Jr. is a great defender and a great component, a great piece of the Browns defense and their secondary. Did he have a down year in 2024? Yes. Point to me any Browns player outside of a few who did not have a down year in 2024. It was the worst year for most of our players. Okay. If your name wasn't Jerry Jeudy or Myles Garrett or Denzel Ward, you didn't have a good season in 2024. Martin Emerson Jr. had a phenomenal rookie season, came out and just blew away expectations for being a 3rd round pick. And it really looked like, wow, the Browns landed something here in the 3rd round. And then he followed that up in 2023 in his second season and should have been a Pro Bowler. He had the season he had was unreal. Obviously, the down season last year in 2024, but he came into training camp this year, dialed in, focused, talking about it, knew, yes, I had a down year last year, and I'm here to prove that was the anomaly and not the rule. And it's a contract year for him. This is year 4. It's the last year of his rookie contract. He's playing for that next big deal, hopefully a big extension with the Browns. And if the Browns opted not to extend him, then he was going to be a high priority free agent come next offseason. Now, with the ruptured Achilles, the missed season, things are going to get a little bit hairy for Martin Emerson Jr. Now, could it work out in the Browns' favor? I'm not saying that injuries are ever a good thing, but I'm just saying I'm looking at it glass half full. Glass half full. It's been a long day for me. Anyway, so Martin Emerson, could the Browns come to terms with him and say, look, we know what you're capable of. You've been here. And give him like a A 2-year deal obviously wouldn't be the money that he would have most likely earned himself had he played this season. But a 2-year deal, because next year, obviously, when you come back from the Achilles, he's not going to be 100%. He's not going to be himself. He's not going to be to his complete full capacity as a player. So he almost would, they could give him that first year, like, okay, come back and prove it, get healthy. And then the following year, obviously, you'd be playing for your contract, your next big contract, which he would only be like 26. Still in his prime as a cornerback, still capable of earning a big contract. So it's not like he's 28 years old and ruptured his Achilles. He's like 23 or 24, maybe, somewhere in there. He's a young guy. He'll bounce back. He'll be okay. But it could be an opportunity for the Browns to retain him on a much lower price point than what we were previously anticipating. And why that's important to talk about is because I've been talking about all offseason how the Browns are going to probably have to decide here this season. It's audition time between Greg Newsome and Martin Emerson. Which guy is going to get the extension with the Browns and be here for that next contract alongside Denzel Ward? Because there's no way we can keep all three of these guys. We've already got Denzel locked up for a while. There's no way we can extend both Newsome and Emerson because, again, despite what you think about Greg Newsome, he is still a very good cornerback in the NFL. So he would warrant and garner a high market value as well. But now the door sort of opens a little bit where maybe the Browns are able to keep all three of these guys. Because now you could extend Greg Newsome during the season at some point and potentially come to some sort of an injury, discounted short-term extension with Martin Emerson Jr. just to keep him on the roster and to give him a little bit of security and, a sense of, I'm here, I'm good, I don't have to worry about my contract for the next couple of years while he rehabs and comes back from this devastating ruptured Achilles, which just really, really freaking blows. So that's, it sucks for Martin Emerson, big time. It sucks for the Browns. I mean, again, forget about 2024. I know it was terrible. Pretty much the entire team, everybody on the roster sucked last year. Martin Emerson Jr. is a good NFL football player. And now the Browns lost him. He's not going to be here. So obviously we still have Denzel Ward. We've got Greg Newsome, but now like a camp running in the slot, or I think the nickel, it's Cam Mitchell. Third-year guy. Was he a 6th-round pick a couple years ago? Not bad. I like Cameron Mitchell as a depth piece, but I was not not high on him being thrust into a starting position, at least not more than just like a spot start, right? For a couple of weeks here and there, or maybe a game or two, whatever, throughout the season. But for the full year heading into it to be that third starting cornerback, oh boy, it's getting rough. It's definitely getting rough. And the vibes right now have just been one blow after another. I mean, whether or not you liked Kenny Pickett or wanted him to be the starting quarterback or didn't, whatever, we got that injury that just happened. So we're dealing with that. Martin Emerson Jr. comes out, ruptured the Achilles. And then another report today. Now this one, before I even say what happened, let me just throw it out there that everybody who reported on that said does not look to be a big deal. But it's worth mentioning because it's a guy who ended the last 2 seasons on IR, and it's Dawand Jones was semi-carted off the field. I saw the reports on Twitter. Dawand Jones carted off the field at Browns practice, people freaking out. And then you started to see more reports saying, well, he wasn't really carted off in the usual sense. He rode in the front seat of the cart to the facility, from the practice field to the facility. And I've been listening to some other people talk about injuries and things at training camp at this time of year, and they say, listen, these guys get transported from the field to the training facility anytime there's a little nick and bruise. They could stub their toe, and it's like they could get a cramp, and they could ride the cart over to the building. So maybe not a huge deal here for Dawand Jones. It wasn't anything like we saw with Emerson a day ago, but it's still worth noting that now Dawand Jones is getting moved off the field into the facility with who knows what. I don't think it has been reported. Scratch that. Just looked it up. Again, I've been trying to follow all the reports and everything from training camp, and I had a real busy day today too, guys. Just bear with me. But Mary Kay Cabot here a little bit ago saying that his cart trip inside during practice was heat related. So, hey, listen, you're about a almost 300-pound human being, and it's, whenever my phone is saying, hey, it's 92 out, but it feels like 110, it's freaking hot. So, okay, I'll back off a little bit on this Dawand Jones. So everything that I've said about Dawand Jones up until this point, I guess you can kind of just forget about. But either way, these are the kind of things we got to watch, because the Browns don't have a whole ton of depth. And Dawand Jones has been a question mark this entire process anyhow. Moving to left tackle, having, shown some flashes his first 2 years, but been primarily injured those first 2 years also. And it's like, can this guy make the leap to the left tackle and be a full-time starter, a reliable starter for the Browns? So sounds like the expectations are Dawand Jones will be back at practice probably tomorrow. I mean, I got to tell, I remember back in high school, I had a heat, what do they call them? A heat stroke or whatever during a two-a-day. And it was different. It was a different kind of sick. It was sort of like having like the flu, maybe like a stomach bug, but it was just the fatigue. It was weird. It was weird. So if anybody out there has ever experienced that, drop in the comments. Let me know how it went for you guys too. But heat related for Dawand Jones. Hopefully nothing more than that. Nothing to be concerned about.
What if everything you've been taught about happiness is wrong? We chase careers, approval, more stuff, hoping it'll finally make us feel fulfilled, but it never sticks. What if happiness isn't out there, but already inside you, just waiting to be unlocked? Discover the book, The Happiness Experiment. Every person has a unique happiness type, and when you understand yours, everything shifts. You'll stop chasing and start creating joy on your own terms. Discover your happiness type with a free happiness type assessment. Go to myhappinnesstype.com. That's myhappinnesstype.com. It takes just a minute and it might change your life. Then grab your copy of The Happiness Experiment at Books A Million. This isn't just a book, it's a practical framework, a journey inward. It's a tool to help you reconnect with the happiness that's been waiting inside you all along. Pick up The Happiness Experiment and start your happiness experiment today.
This episode is sponsored by Manly Bands. Browns fans, head over to manlybands.com/dogs right now to get 30% off site-wide for the founder's favorite sale. The founder, John, it's his birthday, and they want to celebrate the manliest way possible by putting his favorite rings on sale. And why? Well, I guess apparently nothing says happy birthday to John like giving a discount to you. Plus, use code CAMP25, CAMP25 to get an extra $25 off your order. So check out all the manly rings and things that manlybands.com has to offer. They've got chains, they've got groomsmen gifts, they've got barware, they've got all kinds of stuff along with the manliest wedding bands you're ever going to find. Awesome stuff. Awesome materials, awesome designs. You've heard me talk about it forever, but if you haven't actually gone and checked it out, now is the time to do it. 30% off site-wide for the founders, favorites, sale at manlybands.com/dogs and use promo code CAMP25 for an extra $25 off your order.
Since 1989, Mount Hope Fence has set the standard in outdoor living. From decks and railings to fences and patios, we've got you covered. Our lineup features top brands like TimberTech, Alumagard, Preferred Railing, and Unilock, along with our own premium Duralux vinyl products. For over 30 years, we've partnered with contractors ensuring reliable job site delivery. Discover quality and excellence in all things outdoors with Mount Hope Fence.
Next thing that popped up today, coming out of Browns training camp, was the Browns released wide receiver Michael Woods. Michael Woods no longer on the team. He was a 6th-round pick back in, I'm thinking it was 2022. He tore his Achilles his second season, missed the year, and then, came back. He had he played a little bit last year, I should say. It wasn't anything crazy. He's never been more than just a guy that ends up out there whenever there's injuries or just not enough depth. And apparently he had missed the last, I believe, 5 practices of training camp with a hand injury. And the Browns have some young wide receivers right now that are actually making a serious case for the roster. And when you've got a guy who has a history of being injured, he's on the final year of his rookie deal, so there's really no future. You're not extending Michael Woods. So this is it for him. And he's already not practicing with another injury. You got other guys who are showing they're worthy of a roster spot. move on from Michael Woods. He is gone because I think guys like Luke Floria and Gage Larvadain are making serious cases to be on the Browns roster come September. I mean, Floria, if you watch any highlight videos from any of the quarterbacks, any compilation videos, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, watch their compilation video, usually from Cameron Justice. That girl rocks. Luke Floria is on the receiving end of multiple passes. He is out there. He's running routes with the first team, the second team. He's rotating in, and whenever they're throwing the ball to him, he's making the play. And the other guy, Gage Larvadain, these are two UDFA rookies. Larvadain is on the receiving end of so many highlight reels, and it seems like a lot of them are from Shedeur Sanders. The touchdown in the back of the end zone that went viral the other day. I mean, that catch by Larvadain. It was a great throw, great ball placement, but it's an incomplete pass if Larvadain does not get both feet somehow in bounds. And if you go watch that play, I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he got both feet in bounds, but he did. And it's stuff like that that makes you think, okay, there's some talent here in these UDFAs. And for the Browns, what they currently have in the wide receiver room, it's really all we need. It's all it's going to take to make a crack at this roster, because Woods is already gone. David Bell's on the NFI. It's the final year of his rookie contract as well. I don't know why they're even holding on to him. I wouldn't. Does anybody out there want David Bell on the team? Nothing personal with David Bell. He's just never been a dude. He hasn't even been a Jag, just a guy. Like he's the back end of the depth chart type of player that doesn't do anything. So give me, and I'm looking at like Daniel, if you see some of the stuff he's been tweeting, wide receiver room, you're talking about Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, Jamari Thrash, and DeAndre Carter. So he said right now you can pretty much pencil those four guys into roster spots. So that leaves likely 2 spots open for grabs, because like he says, they're probably not going to keep more than 6 wide receivers. So if you've got Jeudy, Tillman, Thrash, Carter, because obviously Carter, you got to have Carter. He's going to be your return specialist. So there's 4 guys. Well, Deontay Johnson's going to make this roster, as long as he doesn't do anything stupid, as long as he's not a bonehead and doesn't just quit on the team. Deontay Johnson's a lock for the roster because, first of all, he's a seasoned pro. He's a veteran. Like he's an all or a Pro Bowl level receiver that you got for free. Essentially, he's basically there for free. And I mean, I know what you mean. $1.17 million is free. Yes, on an NFL salary cap list, $1.17 million is essentially free. It's not free for him, but in terms of the cap and what they're allocating to him, he's nothing. He is nothing. And he could end up being a very integral part of the offense. So that would be 5. Now you're looking at Luke Floria and Gage Larvadain for that last spot. And Michael Woods was in contention for that, but not being at practice, being hurt again, being on the final year of your deal, he's not going to be around. And is it going to be David Bell? How long is he on the NFI? These are all things we don't know. David Bell got waived at the end of last preseason just to get placed then on the practice squad before coming back onto the active roster later in the season. So they're already not opposed to waiving David Bell and potentially losing him on waivers to some other team. Obviously, nobody else came and got him, but they're obviously okay with taking that risk. So I don't see much long-term anything for David Bell. I got my eye on the 2 UDFAs. Obviously, I really like Luke Floria, Kent State kid, local Menor, Cleveland guy, like just fulfilling his lifelong childhood dream of playing for his hometown team, the Cleveland Browns. Like, it's a great story. And he is backing it up on the field. He's not just a feel-good story. He is a feel-good story, but not just. He's also very, very good and showing it every day at practice. And Gage Larvadain is doing the same thing. So both of these guys, I'm very excited to watch in the preseason and see how they continue to progress. And the last thing I want to talk about from today's training camp session specifically was this mismatched unit, pairing in the 11-on-11 team drills. So they get to 11-on-11 session, apparently, and they've got the first team defense out there. But it's the second team offense going against the first team. And who's leading the second team offense? It's Shedeur Sanders. So Shedeur Sanders is taking reps, and this is what we've been asking for forever. He's taking reps against the first team, defense. And by all accounts, Kid held his own. And you got to remember when we're talking about this, I'm not saying that Shedeur Sanders took first team reps. He did not. He took second team reps against the first team defense. He's playing with the second string offensive line. He doesn't have Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller and Dawand Jones and Conklin and Posick and these guys out there. He doesn't have Judy and Njoku. He's playing with the second team offense against Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward and Schlesinger and all these guys. And sounds like he did pretty good. I've seen the video clips. He's moving in the pocket well. He's finding his targets. He's hitting his targets. He's making plays on the run. He's throwing accurate passes on the move. He's doing all the things that during the pre-draft process, scouts and analysts said would be, his positives, his pros moving into the NFL. And he's doing it. Like right here, I just like, okay, so he threw one pass kind of behind Luke Floria, wasn't able to make the grab because it was really thrown behind him. But there was also a defender running right into where Floria was heading. So if he had tried to lead him, that would have been a hospital ball, an interception. So he probably made the right play. It was kind of probably, my guess would be it was a throwaway in the form of an incompletion. But I got to say, he looks impressive. It looked good. And I just want to see what continues to transpire as the week goes on here. We've got tomorrow, you got Friday, and you've got Saturday. Does he start to take any reps with the first team offense against the first team defense? But it is awesome to see and very important to point out here that the Browns are progressing a little more rapidly now with Kenny Pickett on the shelf. And they're moving forward with Shedeur Sanders and getting him more involved in these team drills against the first team defense. Great to see. And with that, it's great to see him step up to the challenge, step up to the plate, make some plays, not look bad out there. I mean, if he's out there getting sacked and, throwing interceptions and making terrible plays and looking lost, yeah, now he's not ready. The kid looks like he's ready. Maybe not ready to start. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I think he's ready for more opportunities. That's what I mean. He looks like he's ready for increased opportunities. Preseason's right around the corner. We're going to get so much look at these guys. We're going to get so many reps in the preseason for Gabriel, Shedeur, these rookie receivers, all these young guys that are going to, be fighting to make this roster in what the Browns won't say it, but we'll say it. It's a rebuilding year. I mean, let's just call it what it is. It's a rebuilding season for the Browns. Hopefully it's just like a 1-year rebuild and maybe next year we can compete, but does not seem like that'll be the case, at least in 2025. Last quick note here about the Browns and stuff at training camp. Jerome Ford is back on the field practicing. I haven't seen if he's actually taking any reps in team drills, but at least in the individual running back drills, he is back on the field in his helmet and pads and going through the team drills. The other guy that call me crazy, but I'm kind of excited to watch this guy in the preseason if he's still on the roster here next week is this Toa Taua. I don't even know how to say his name. The young man from Nevada who played in the UFL, played for the Michigan Panthers the last couple seasons, was the UFL touchdown leader, rushing touchdown leader last season, and the Browns signed him at least to come in here and practice and be, the assumption is he's a camp body with Quinshon Judkins not signed yet. And you know what? Yes, I'm excited to watch Toa. Let me talk about Quinshon real quick. That just kind of reminds me. So Jimmy Haslam was asked about Quinshon Judkins the other day, and his quote, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, quote was cautiously optimistic that a deal still gets done, he still gets signed. Quinshon Judkins, and this is, whatever, July 30th, might be August 1st by the time you guys listen to this, however it is. I don't see any way in which Quinshon Judkins, first of all, is not a part of this team moving forward. I think he will be. I don't know how many games he even misses. I don't know what the suspension is going to end up coming down as, because we don't have any more information. There's no new details or anything about his situation. But in my opinion, and you guys let me know what you think in the comments, but in my opinion, if he had already signed his deal back when all the other rookies we drafted signed their contracts, if he had already been under contract before the whole domestic violence situation came out and he got arrested, Quinshon Judkins would be at Browns training camp right now, taking reps with the first team. Done deal. Why do I say that? Because Devin Bush is there. Yeah, Devin Bush is, he's got his whole domestic violence situation going on right now. He's out there with the first team defense, taking reps, getting ready for the season, practicing. Mike Hall last year got arrested for domestic violence. Next day was on the field, practicing, getting ready for the season. If Quinshon Judkins had been signed, if he had already had his contract done, I 100% believe he would be on the field right now practicing for the Browns. So we will see what ends up happening with him. But again, I think once the whole legal situation starts to simmer down a little bit and all that kind of stuff, they'll sign him. They'll get him out there. I wouldn't be surprised to see him, maybe not next week in the preseason game against the Panthers, but possibly the following week out there against the Eagles. Again, time will tell. Things can change on a dime in the news cycle, but that's just kind of my perspective and my gut feeling right now as we speed on into August. I can't believe we're here already. I can't believe July is over. It just completely vanished, and it's crazy because that is like the big dead period for the NFL. There's nothing going on for like 5 weeks, and then boom, it's just training camp and preseason and all this stuff, and then it's the regular season. July still went fast. Crazy stuff. But here we are heading into August, heading into preseason games starting next week. Very, very exciting to see the Browns out there finally back in pads, having their first, from what I'm reading, I guess I didn't realize this. It's the first time we've had tackling to the ground in training camp under Kevin Stefanski. Cool. Get physical out there, guys, because I'm tired of watching you get pushed around like a bunch of sissies by these other teams every Sunday. And it's because you practice soft. Cleveland Browns, you guys practice soft, or at least you have in the past. Good to see these guys. Carson Schweschinger, did you guys see that hit he put on Dylan Sampson the other day? Oh, he's going to be fun to watch. Well, both of them are going to be fun to watch, but Carson is going to be real fun to watch for the Browns this season. So let me know what you guys think. Anything from training camp that I didn't touch on that you saw, you heard, you read, whatever. We'll talk about it, and we can bring it up on the next episode and all that kind of stuff. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Fantasy football, don't wait. I'm not going to be talking about it much longer. We're heading into August. There's not a hard cutoff yet, but I would say you've got probably another week or so. If you want to play fantasy football, head to jointhedogs.com. Sign up now. Get your name on the registration. If you get in now and get signed up, you're guaranteed a spot in the league. You will get to play. Don't worry about it, but you got to sign up now. If you wait until after, about a week from now, then now if you get in there and you sign up, there will be a chance that we tell you, sorry, there's no room. Right now, there's still room. So get in now, jointhedogs.com. Play fantasy football with us. It's a ton of fun. See if you can take us down. I won 2 leagues last year. Blake won a league, and Justin used to win leagues. He didn't last year, so see if he's coming back in a vengeance, though. So if you want to try to keep him from winning, get in. And we're trying to get Kenny Mack a championship, but you guys are doing a good job of keeping him down, too. Get in. It's a ton of fun. We love it. So jointhedogs.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. Midweek, quick update on training camp, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at The Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
This episode is sponsored by ISSA. Browns fans, if you're into health and fitness, have you ever wondered how you could maybe turn those hobbies and your passion into an actual career? If that sounds interesting to you, then ISSA has the opportunity you've been looking for. ISSA is the International Sports Science Association, and they can help you become a certified personal trainer in as little as 3 months. And right now you can get $100 off your certification when you sign up through our link, joinissa.com/dogs, DAWGS. Now, certifications are 100% online, self-study, and self-paced. You can study anywhere from your phone, tablet, or computer. And the final exam is open note, open book, aka piece of cake. Except you fitness nuts probably don't eat a ton of cake, so let's just call it a piece of delicious protein bar. And ISSA has the #1 job guarantee in the industry. If you get certified and sign up to be a certified trainer with ISSA, you have a job guarantee or your money back. ISSA has over 10,000 gym partners that have over 73,000 open jobs for trainers right now. And you don't need a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. You just need your certification to qualify for these jobs. So what are you waiting for? With certification this simple, there's no excuse not to pursue your passion and become a certified personal trainer today. Get $100 off your certification at joinissa.com/dogs. You've wanted to make a change long enough. Now it's time to do something about it. That's joinissa.com/dogs for $100 off your personal trainer certification.